The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schaap. You may know me from ESPN's Outside the Lines and Sports Center. What you probably don't know is that I've suffered from Crohn's disease for almost 20 years. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps, Be Heard walk program is the largest national walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To learn more about how you can help and to find a walk site near you, please visit www.cctakesteps.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Hilary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And a good Friday morning to you. Freedom Friday. Yes, indeed, it is already Friday. Friday, July number 14 in the year of our Lord 2017, which means we're actually about halfway through the month of July already. Which means we're almost, we're a good halfway through summer. Well, it depends on where you are. Anyway, Fridays are always a little bit lighter. We talk about some inane stuff and some inane stuff. 603-835. Yeah, 603-835-3226 is the call-in number should you wish to utilize it. We talk about anything that is on your mind, just about any subject under the sun, as we slide on into the weekend and celebrate some of our restored freedoms, although we have people out there, like some judges, we'll get into this, who are trying to, even after the Supreme Court has made its decision and ruling, and saying, well, we're going to do more later on. You got judges out there that think that they can still play around with this. And this might be it. This might be time to start calling for, I don't know, how do you recall or impeach a sitting federal judge? Now is the time that Congress, as I do believe Congress has the power to remove judges. It is now's the time to start doing that. And we'll get into that this morning as well. Kid Rock is in the news still. He's got a bunch of people all upset. Well, I don't know if you'd be upset, but we'll talk about that. And of course, we've got the myriad of other things to talk about. The healthcare bill, the healthcare bill debacle. I have no idea why it's so difficult for these Republicans to. You know, I'm about to pull a Joe Scarborough. I mean everybody's out. According to Twitter and Facebook, nobody really cares that right or left really cares that Scarborough left the Republic. I love when these people, they do this, these sort of public announcements, as if the entire world waits for them to make such an announcement and we're supposed to really, 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 really care about what they think or do. And whenever they do something like this, and these kinds of people what I'm talking about, it falls flat. It falls on deaf ears. Nobody cares. So Joe Scarborough says that he's going to leave the Republican Party. And you could have heard a pin drop. Crickets. Nobody cares, Joe. We didn't think you were really a Republican in the first place. We say, go be with your girlfriend, wife, whatever she is to you. I don't particularly care, not interested. Go do that. We didn't think that you were much of a Republican anyway, at least not a conservative. So we don't really care that you leave the Republican Party. But I got to tell you, I'm almost there myself with the way these stupid, idiotic, inside the Beltway Republicans are handling all of this stuff down there. I mean, there hasn't been a single piece of major legislation on the Trump agenda that has passed Congress. He hasn't been able to sign anything. And not because it isn't wanted and not because the agenda isn't good, but because these guys are sitting on their ass, they're sitting on their hands, and they're sitting around, well, we don't know if we can do this. The American people keep telling you what to do. And you still refuse to do it. And frankly, I'm past being tired of it. I'm so done with it. Now it's time for the American people to whip out their collective belts and start spanking these people down in Washington, D.C. because they're not doing a damn thing that we ask them to do. Oh, sure, if liberals are asking to do it, when liberals are in power, they'll trip all over themselves to get to the podium to be the first ones to say, yeah, I support this, we're going to do this, we're going to, even if we have to do it in the middle of the night, just before Christmas when nobody's paying attention, if that's what we have to do, we'll do it. What do Republicans do? Oh, we're going to repeal this. We're going to repeal it. They've had 8 years plus years to repeal it. Nobody's had a bill ready. Like the Democrats had the health care bill. They've had that bill ready for decades. Don't even think that all they do was just modernize it a little bit. Don't think that it wasn't ready. You don't get a bill that big ready that fast, especially with Democrats. Republicans said, oh, yeah, we're going to repeal it. And they have nothing. Nothing. And they make all kinds, McConnell and Ryan make all kinds of excuses. Don't give me that bullshit anymore. We the people are sick and tired of doing it. We want you to do your damn jobs. We told you to repeal it. You don't gotta replace it. Just repeal the damn bill already. What the hell is wrong with you? We're tired of this garbage. Do you realize that this is, I'm sorry, I know we talk about how we like the fact that Congress doesn't do anything, because if Congress doesn't do anything, that means our freedom is safe. But do you realize that the Republicans have the majority everywhere? I mean, everywhere. Republicans have the majority in the majority of states. Republicans have the majority in the House. Republicans have the majority in the Senate. Republicans have the majority in state houses. Republicans have the majority in state senates. Republicans have the majority in governorships. Republicans have the White House. And we're not doing a goddamn single thing. Why? You haven't gotten a damn thing done in 6 months. We can't be any more clear than we already have been. The Democrats are what? They're down some nearly 1,500 seats nationwide. And you want to tell me you're not sure that the American people want to just get rid of certain laws? We've been telling you that we want you to can it. Even if you don't believe in polls, it's hard to say. Even the stupid liberal polls are telling you that the vast majority of Americans want to get rid of Obamacare. And you're worried about the few minority who are riding on everybody else's coattails for a handout? You're worried about them being upset if you get rid of Obama? I don't give a rip. Well, people are going to die. Well, let me ask you this. How many people died before we had Obamacare? Oh, yeah, not 20 million people, is there? No. People are going to die. I don't mean to sound callous. I don't mean to sound heartless. I don't mean to sound cruel, but that's the nature of the human condition. We're born, we live, we die. Some of us live longer than others. For whatever reason. Now, I'm not saying that we need to not take care of people who truly cannot take care of themselves. That is not what, obviously I'm not saying that. But to force people to buy something that they don't want or don't need is un-American and it's unconstitutional, and I don't care what freaking judge says that it is. It's not. And it's just about damn time that we just, you got off your high horses down there in Washington. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not even going to go there anymore because it's not going to get done. It's not going to get. Look, sure, I know that this program is obviously nowhere in the big league, so I'm not getting millions of listeners. I get that, but here's the deal, folks. It starts with you. You know, what's the old Asian proverb? A monsoon begins with but the flap of a butterfly's wing on the opposite side of the world. How about we get a monsoon going? How about we start turning out every freaking one of these incumbents? I mean, every single one that's up for election. You primary them and you get you vote in true conservatives, and then you vote that conservative into office. You get rid of, I don't care who it is. And don't you dare tell me that it's not your senator or your congressman is the problem, because it is your senator and your congressman that's the problem. It's everybody's congressman and everybody's senator that's the problem. Well, we have a good one. No, bullshit, you have a good one. You don't have a good one. If he's been there, if he's a senator and he's been there for more than one term, he's not a good one. If he's been there in the House of Representatives for more than 2 terms, he's not a good one. Well, Rand Paul, screw Rand Paul. Vote his ass out too. I'm telling you, every single one of them needs to go. Because that's the only way you're going to help Donald Trump drain and clean out the swamp. I mean, disinfect the whole damn thing. Because if we don't, we're going to sit here in 2 years, we're going to sit here in 4 years, we're going to sit here in 8 years, and we're going to say, nobody's listening to us. We don't want this law, we don't like that law, and we believe that judge is out of line, and this judge. Oh, wham. We get the goddamn government we deserve. Because it's the government that we vote into place. So if you reelect Nancy Pelosi, then you're going to keep getting Valley Girl airheaded bullshit. If you keep voting in Mitch McConnell, you're going to keep getting weak mamby-pamby. We want big government, but we want Republicans in charge of big government Republicans in office. That's what you're going to get. That's what you've always gotten, and this is what you're always complaining about, and yet you still vote in the same damn people over and over again. I'm tired of people complaining to me. Well, I'm tired, but they won't do it. Well, you voted him in, didn't you? Enough's enough with this already. It's time you got over yourselves. I don't care who you are. You know, I'm getting sick and tired of tuning in to all the wonderful talking heads, and they're talking about the same goddamn thing day in and day out, and there's no change. Why is there no change? We're talking about the top 10 talk show hosts out there, all of them claim to be conservative, have millions and millions and millions of combined listeners, and we still have the same damn government that we've always had. And although the names change and the voices are different, we still get the same damn people calling in, complaining about the same damn people in Washington, complaining about the same damn subjects. It's not that I'm bored. I'm just sick of it. And we started to institute some change in the way of Donald Trump. But what did we give him? We gave him nothing but a bunch of mamby-pamby, wimpy, big government style, doesn't listen to the people kind of Congress. Have you forgotten that we have a 3-chambered government here with equal but separate powers? And not one branch of government can rule the entire government. That's not the way our Constitution works. Oh, sure, we've got the court system that thinks that they can write laws now, and that's not what their job is. We've got Congress that has abdicated much of their power to the executive branch via all these departments who issue regulations. That's not constitutional either. And we have the executive branch who thinks that they can just by fiat every once in a while write an executive order and that becomes law, but it never does. They've all got to do their respective jobs. And frankly, nobody is, because they're too busy trying to do everybody else's jobs. You got a bunch of judges in federal courts, local courts, federal courts, state courts, even up to the Supreme Court of the United States, trying to do the legislature's job. You got the legislators who are running around acting like they don't have any power while they give what power they have left over to the executive branch, who then funnels it into these non-elected, unaccountable bureaucrats who issue regulation after regulation after regulation. Half the time, those regulations don't even correlate, but they bump into another regulation, confusing the hell out of the people. So no matter what you do, you're going to get trampled by the federal government. You're going to get ensnared. You're going to say, well, this regulation says I can do it, but this regulation over here from this department says you can't do it. Give me a freaking break. You know how you stop all this crap? You stop it by not voting in the same damn people over and over again who screwed you the first time, who screwed you the second time, who keep screwing you. How long has Nancy Pelosi been in office? Yeah, and every freaking single year she screws you. And then you want to complain.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shave brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avon Shave gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
(603-835-3226). Yeah, that is the number that you can call. Don't worry, I won't bite your head off if you do call in. It is Friday after all. Unless, of course, you're, a couple of people on my hit list. There's not that I consider people to be on a hit list, but you got to be careful. I shouldn't say hit list. You got to be careful what you say because some people take it far too literally, especially nowadays. You got Big Brother out there listening, and well, you said hit list. That means you know what hit means. Yeah, well, I guess it really depends on what sport you're talking about. In any case, you want to talk about how craziness? You got I had a story here today because to follow up yesterday's story. I told you about worldwide now in Britain. The police are questioning 5-year-olds for sexting them. Taking their own pictures, selfies, nude, sexting at 5 years old. First of all, I don't know how you do it at 5. But second of all, how are you legitimately a real police officer going to someone's house and knocking on their door and saying, I need to speak to your 5-year-old about sending nude selfies? Well, I mean, I didn't read you the article, but in the article, they were quite proud of the police not arresting the 5-year-old. No charges will be filed against a 5-year-old for sexting, selfie sexting. No charges? I mean, really? Well, now we have a problem and I have the story here. Where did I put that story? Here in the paper pile. There's a young man over the age of 21 was sexting his fiance, also over the age of 21. He got arrested because somebody happened to see the nude image that wasn't supposed to see it because they looked over her shoulder, evidently. Are you kidding me? This is getting way out of hand. It's not getting, it is way out of hand. This is insanity. You've got prosecutors who proudly try to prosecute 15, 16, and 17-year-olds for taking nude pictures of themselves, saying that they're both the perpetrator and the victim. What? How the hell are they the perpetrator? They took a picture. Now all of a sudden, so if you're 18, you can take a nude picture of yourself, but if you're 17, you can't. How does that make any sense? Can somebody please explain to me, Lucy, how any of that makes any sense? Well, this is how it makes sense. Thomas Jefferson said it, and here's this morning's quote of the day. There are two enemies of the people. The two enemies of the people are criminals and government. So let us tie the second down with the chains of the Constitution so the second will not become legalized version of the first. Al, he may have been right, but he's too damn late. Government is the legalized version of criminals.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
603-835-3226. Welcome back. Here we have today's holidays. The holidays for today, for July 14th. Today is National Grand Marnier Day. The drink, the alcoholic beverage, the liqueur. Grab yourself some Grand Marnier. It's National Tape Measure Day, by the way. Yeah. Learn, if you don't know how to use a tape measure, then you should learn how to use it. Today is the day that you learn how to use a tape measure because it is National Tape Measure Today. Today is also Collector Car Appreciation Day. So, now this weekend, there are probably going to be a lot of, local car shows or car swaps or car meets. In your vicinities, so check them out. There's some people that do some great work in restoring or keeping. So now I saw there was a 60 not too long ago, a couple of years ago. There was a gentleman who had a 1965 Mustang convertible. Now he claims everything was original, and of course there's somebody that asked him, well, how do you know everything's original? He says, because I'm the only owner. And we're thinking, well, what? He said, I bought this car when I was 18 years old. And, well, yeah, he was an elderly man, but he never got rid of the car. He bought it. He said it was the first thing that he bought when he graduated high school. He got a job. I forget what he said he was doing. Evidently he bought this 65 because, they weren't all that expensive. It was called an affordable convertible back then. And it was the traditional baby powder type of blue that the Mustangs had. It was one of the color options in the white top. He said the top was original, but it had been repaired and restored twice. And, they got dirty and they had to be properly cleaned, and I guess they were bleached and any rips or holes. You could see some of the repairs in the roof, sewing or patch or what have you. But he said, yeah, it was the original roof. Good for him. But you'll see cars like that. It was a beauty. Can you imagine being the original owner of a car that's now, 40, 45, 50 years old? You're 70 years old now, I guess, and you have almost 70. You have your very first car. I think my very first car is probably has long been recycled. I probably couldn't even find my first 4 or 5 cars in a junkyard somewhere. They've all been long since recycled, I'm sure. This guy, he kept it, and it still runs, and he still drives it. Only in summers now. But he still drives it. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. I don't know how many miles are on it because they only went, they didn't even go to 100,000. 90 was the speedometer, the tachometer, 99,999. So I don't know how many times things rolled over. Isn't that funny that nobody ever thought that you drive that much? You drive a car. They expected you to get a new car before the car hit 100,000 miles. They didn't design cars that last 100,000. But believe it or not, they didn't. But somehow those older cars built back then, they did last, and they're still lasting. It's amazing. And the cars of like the 70s and 80s, they were designed with obsolescence built in. Did you know that? They really were. You know, people talk about it, but they really were designed to be obsolete after so many miles. Now that's not the case today. Well, I guess it's sort of the case today, but not the way it used to be, because people are driving these cars for 250,000 miles easily. So you can't have a car that's obsolete after 100,000 miles. Nobody's going to buy your car. But that's the way manufacturers used to take advantage of us. The life expectancy of a vehicle was about 100,000 miles. That was it. In fact, up until recently, there was in New Hampshire, they had this thing, mechanical limit, and they would put on if you bought a car or registered a car that had more than what they call the mechanical, they put it right there on the certificate. Exceeds mechanical limits. Now they don't tell you, they couldn't tell you that you couldn't drive it or own the car. It just said, well, it just exceeds mechanical limits. Well, who decided that 100,000 miles was the mechanical limit? Somebody had to make that determination at some point. But in any case, it is Collector Car Appreciation Day, so look for your collector cars to be out there on the streets all weekend long. Now, it's supposed to be raining up here today, possible thunderstorms, but tomorrow and Sunday is supposed to be fairly nice, so people may put off Collector Car Appreciation Day until later in the weekend. It is also Shark Awareness Day. Yes, we've got sharks have been spotted all over the coast of Massachusetts, Cape Cod, and the islands, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, going down the coastline into the Carolinas and into Georgia, Florida, that type of thing. The sharks have been spotted. The sharks have even attacked some people. They're getting more and more brazen. So today is Shark Awareness Day. So if you're anywhere on the coast, be it the left coast or the Atlantic coast, be aware. And if there is a shark warning that is being put up by your lifeguards or your Coast Guard, stay out of the water for a while. One of the things that makes sharks go away, there's nothing that interests them. There's no food. They have a lack of food or potential food. There's nothing that interests them. Now, maybe most sharks won't attack a human being, but a human being splashing about in the water is definitely going to attract them. Because, believe it or not, sharks are curious. So stay out of the water for a little while. You'll get to go back in eventually. But just don't put yourself out there as shark bait, and don't try to attract them. It's just stupid. You're in their environment. You may be the ultimate apex predator on land, but in the water you are not. Love it when some people say, well, I'll take on that shark. No, you're not going to take on a shark. Especially if you get a shark that's twice as long as you are tall. You're not in your element. You're not a sea creature. You're a land creature. The shark is what? A sea creature. You're in their element. They've got the advantage. So even if a shark is like 14 or 15 feet long, it's got you. It's got the advantage. It's not that you have to be afraid of a shark. But have you seen some of these idiots get out there with these giant sharks? These giant great whites? These things are like 30, 35, 40 feet long. We've seen pictures of during Shark. When is Shark Week? Yeah, that should be coming up pretty soon. I remember watching Shark. I wasn't one that really got into Shark Week for the longest time. I was like, what's so, why is everybody talking about Shark Week? And a couple of years ago, I saw a few episodes of Shark Week, and I was kind of hooked. I mean, they're fascinating creatures, but they put together a program with some of the largest known great whites, and what these things were. They were literally the movie Jaws. I don't know how a fish Well, I know technically a shark is not a fish, but I don't know how a fish gets that big. That big and that powerful. And there was, South Africa, off the coast, there was a giant great white. She must have, well, they say it was a she. I don't know how they know it was a she. But they say she was anywhere between 38 and 42 feet long. And she ate 2 people. I'm not kidding. Right on film. And you could actually see one of the people, just like Jaws, being eaten. I mean, it was a nightmare. This shark, there was a capsize. And it was like a ferry, and the boat capsized for whatever reason, and people were in the water. And there was one lone guy. Well, he wasn't alone at first, but he was hanging on to some of the debris. And you saw him floating away against the current, away from everybody. The shark was actually pushing this guy away from everybody else. And every once in a while, you saw the fin circle him. So she was just waiting. She'd already eaten, I guess, so she was waiting to digest a little bit. And 20 minutes later, sure as shit, out of the water, mouth wide open, right on top of him, gone. Literally engulfed this guy. I mean, if you would have thought you were watching a movie, not a documentary. You would have thought you were watching a movie at that particular point in time. So, I mean, it's how big these things get. We don't know how big they can get. I don't think we found. We say we found. Well, the biggest great white we've ever found. Well, we don't know if that's as big as they get. Because every time you turn around, they seem to find one that's even bigger. That's scary. I'm sorry, but that's scary. But no, we don't have the giants off the coast of New England. We don't have any 30 or 40, that I know of. We don't have any 30 to 40 footers off the coast. They're smaller, but their teeth still hurt. Today is also, to round out today's holidays, it is also Pandemonium Day. So what is Pandemonium Day? Well, Pandemonium Day is a day of sheer bedlam, utter chaos. If ever there was a wild and wacky, unorganized day, today is that day. Everyone has a day like this once in a while. It's a day when all sorts of unexpected things occur, kind of like the unfortunate tales of Lemony Snicket. Remember those? So today is well, you might as well call it Bedlam Day. It is Pandemonium Day. So there are your holidays for today. And what you should be doing this weekend, like staying out of the water. McConnell reveals new health bill. Will GOP support it? We got to go through all this rigmarole. I swear, this is what set me off this morning, folks. I apologize for Friday being a little upset on a Friday over this stuff, but it just going through it and researching this morning, and not to mention I'm tired of Microsoft. I've had with these software companies. I'm tired of them. You have no control over your own computer. Do you realize that? It doesn't matter how old it is or how new. You have no control over it. Well, you see, this morning, evidently, Microsoft did an update for whatever software that Microsoft has on my computer. That's fine. Problem is, it didn't give me a choice of when to update. So all of a sudden, and a lot of times, there have been days where it has taken 45 minutes for Microsoft's update to take hold in my computer, and I don't have slow internet. So a half hour before the show, the computer decides, well, it's going to update. Like, what now? And you don't have a choice about it. I should have a choice of whether or not I want you to put something on my computer. It's not what I guess if you who reads all that gobbledygook fine print anyway? It's probably buried in there that they get to do whatever the hell they want with your computer, and you agree to it. And nobody reads that stuff. Even I don't even think lawyers read that. But it is, in any case. So that I was not in a good mood to begin with because it decided to do that. Yeah, and that happens every once in a while. All too often for me. And people say, well, that's why you get an Apple. And no, you don't. Look, apples are not perfect. There was a story a couple of months ago of a person down in a internet cafe in Boston, had an Apple. Whatever happened on his Apple computer, he was so ticked off about that Apple computer that he literally threw it into the cafe bar and broke it. And he said it's Apple's fault. No, I don't know what the hell happened. Nobody knows what really happened. But Apple evidently is not perfecto. That's a huge tantrum. You're throwing your Apple laptop into the internet cafe bar, and the bar was made of stone, had a stone face, so the bar wasn't damaged. I know the place where it happened. I've been in there before. It's a nice place. It's nice and quiet, so I can just imagine that somebody throwing their Apple laptop against the bar would have shattered the quaintness and quietness of the cafe. So it even happens with Apple, folks. Even happens with Apple. Nobody's perfect, right? Yeah, well, except Apple is tends to be a lot more expensive than Microsoft machines. In either case, I'm not throwing any of them against a bar.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
And welcome back. Hey, so this McConnell bill thing, folks, this is just ridiculous. Well, as the kids today say, it's redonkulous. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell released his new but still reeling health care bill yesterday, bidding for conservative support by letting insurers sell low-cost, skimpy policies and reaching the... Well, letting? Folks, are you getting the language in this? Oh, we're going to let you sell low-cost policies. Who the hell are you people in D.C. to tell somebody that they can't? Who are you in D.C. to tell me that if all I want is a major medical or catastrophic health care plan, because it's all I want, it's all I'm willing to spend, doesn't matter, that's all I want. Who are you to tell me I can't? I have the money, I want to spend it. Somebody has the service, they want to sell it. Who are you to get in between us? This is not an illicit drug. This is insurance. So McConnell is going to let insurance companies sell I love how the AP put this. Low-cost, skimpy policies. It's not a skimpy policy. I mean, this is part of my frustration this morning, folks. Look, these people they do not understand because they have been out of touch for so long. They don't understand what it's like to be a regular Joe and Jane American. They get so much provided for them. They get the added benefits of security. And sure, all this stuff is paid for by us. And trust me, ever since some liberal went apeshit on some Republicans on a baseball diamond, you can better believe that we're going to be footing the bill for additional security. You know, the kind of security that you and I could never possibly afford on our own. And don't tell me, well, they're important people. They're not important people. For crying out loud, they're a member of Congress, a House of Representatives. And I know some people are saying, well, geez, Rod, what are you saying? That we shouldn't protect our leaders? They're not leaders. When are you folks going to understand? They are not leaders. They are representatives. There's a difference. You know, a leader is a potentate, a dictator. You may not think that they're a very good leader, but that's what that's what leaders are. We don't have leaders. We have representatives. But somehow we've gotten away from these people actually representing us, and they actually tell us that what they're going to allow us to do. Oh, we're going to allow you to buy certain kinds of skimpy healthcare insurance. No, you don't get to allow us. We allow you to be in D.C. This whole mess is backwards, folks. Backwards.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. It's Rod Eccles.
Welcome back. Here we are on a Friday. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Yes, Friday, July number 14. In the year of our Lord 2017. That means that we take things a little bit lighter, at least we try to. 603-835-3226 is the number that you can call in so you can talk about just about anything under the sun, any subject that you want to. It doesn't have to be about politics or current events. It could be about science. It could be about, I don't know, what's happening at the movies this weekend. Entertainment if you want to. Yeah, you can do that. Yes, we can talk about entertainment if you want. Speaking of entertainment, Shia LaBeouf was in the news again. I look. I don't know if the kid had. Well, he's not. How old is he now? He's in his 30s, right? Is he 30 something? I don't know. He had a lot of promise. You know, people are talking about him being the next Leonardo DiCaprio, and I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean, but okay. And then he got too big for his. I don't think he got too big for his britches. I think the kid is just off his rocker. I'm not a mental health professional, but just from the outside looking in, I think there's something mentally wrong with this person. Maybe he just has an ego problem. That could be it too. I don't know, but evidently he was recently arrested. Just so you know, and he was for drunkenness, and he went off on one of the police officers that arrested him, and he was being a little bit, shall we say, bigoted and racist. And he's guess he said that, black people are going to hell, and that, the reason why, all kinds of nasty things. And he tried to later apologize for it. But you know what? This is what I've always said about these wonderful liberals. And he was a nut job. Remember that had that art project is what he called it, of video, until conservatives and non-liberals took it over on him, and he shut it down because I guess he didn't expect people to take over his project. This whole "he will not divide us" thing. Anybody remember that video of him and some other kid that was with him? And at first, people thought that he was attacking the guy. Yeah, I mean, they did. But he wasn't, because the guy was with him. But Shia LaBeouf, he looked like a rabid dog. That's just the way. Well, it was just. But he will not divide us type of thing. And the problem is that. No, it wasn't Donald Trump that that was dividing us. It was we were already divided by liberals and Obama. Just saying. You can think what you want to think about that kind of stuff, but the truth is that excuse me, take a little sip of water here. The truth is that. That we're not those of us on the right are not the ones doing the dividing. We're not the ones doing the dividing. This stuff is being done by those on the left. And it's because that is their true nature. And whenever they get comfortable, I don't care what it takes. If they're in a familiar surrounding and they think the cameras aren't on and nobody else is around except their fellow liberals, or if they have too much alcohol or too much illicit drugs, and they get a little bit more loosey-goosey and comfortable, their true nature comes out. And that true nature is what they accuse the rest of us of being. Yeah, it happens every time. Every single time, that's what happens. It is what it is. But I don't. How many times has he been arrested for drunkenness, disorderly conduct type of thing? He's a male Lindsay Lohan. The only thing he hasn't done, I don't think, is he doesn't steal anything. Remember when Lindsay Lohan just couldn't keep out of trouble? By the way, Lindsay Lohan last week said that everybody should chill out and give President Trump a chance. He's the president. Yeah, I know it's Lindsay Lohan, but even that hot mess gets it. Just saying, folks. Would Donald Trump ever expect to get an endorsement from Lindsay Lohan? I'm not saying it's a good endorsement, but I'm just saying even that hot mess, she gets it. Anyway, back to the McConnell stuff. McConnell reveals his new health care bill. And one of the things that the AP is talking about is that he's letting insurers sell low-cost, skimpy policies, and he's going to be reaching for moderates with added billions to combat opioid abuse and help states rein in consumers' skyrocketing insurance costs. Well, you're not going to rein in skyrocketing insurance costs if you don't allow for the so-called low-cost, skimpy policies. I mean, what subsidies? Well, that means some people get government assistance, and that means some people pay for that government assistance, and they pay for their own policy. How is that going to bring down the cost of insurance policies? Well, of course it's not. Of course, it's not. It's not going to bring down the cost. And every time you get the government involved, costs do not go down. Yeah, name me, excuse me, hell, we've even had times when things that should be cheap have cost the taxpayer an ungodly amount of money. Remember the $700 hammer and the $500 toilet seats? Yeah. Stuff like that happens all the time. Still does. And then on a rare occasion, you'll hear about somebody getting busted for overcharging the government. Really? Well, we got to make sure. I don't know. I don't know how it gets through the whole process where somebody gets a bill in the government and says, "Oh, hammer, $700." I don't know how that doesn't raise a red flag immediately. Nobody goes through the bills, line by line to see what's in them. Well, evidently not. So that's how people get away with overcharging our government a lot. And these people that get caught is because they get a little too greedy sometimes, and they don't hide it well enough. Because a lot of what you'll find out is that these people are hiding these high priced things within these long ass bills. And the people that get caught, they sort of forget that you're supposed to hide the high cost in the long ass bills, and they put it in the short bill, and somebody's, what's 2 or 3 items. And they go, wait, what's this cost? That's how they end up usually getting caught. They don't usually get caught if they hide such a high cost item in a bill that has like 100 lines or 100 items that are being billed for. Then they stick it in the middle somewhere. That's how they do it. At least that's what I'm told. However, allowing insurance to offer bare bones plans it threatens to alienate moderates and perhaps other conservatives. I don't know why a conservative would be alienated if you allowed insurance companies to offer bare bones plans. And if I want to buy it, what business is it of Washington, D.C.'s that I want to buy it? It is none of their business. But evidently, according to AP, allowing insurers to offer a bare bones plan will threaten to alienate moderates. Well, why the hell would a moderate be upset about allowing an insurance company to offer a product or a service that people want to buy? Because as I've told you, this is why you got to get rid of all these people. They don't want you to have that kind of a choice. You people got to understand this. Now, I've told you time and time again that you need to replace all these people. You need to vote in some true conservatives to replace them. All 500. Well, you can't do 535 because not every senator is up for re-election. But you can flip the House, because all 435 members of the House are up for election every 2 years. You can flip them. Just put in new people. Start there. And this is just this is insane that we have to put up with this. Why do we put up with it? I don't know. The legislation, the Senate's GOP plan for rolling back much of President Barack Obama's health care law, faces a do-or-die vote next week, on which McConnell has no margin for error since Democrats uniformly oppose the effort. Of course they do. McConnell needs the votes of 50 of the 52 GOP senators to prevail, and 2 seem certain to vote no. Conservative Rand Paul and moderate Susan Collins. Now, Ted Cruz has demanded language letting insurance sell plans with minimal coverage as long as they also sell policies that meet strict coverage requirements set by Obama's 2010 statute. Why? Why? Oh. This is coming from Ted Cruz, folks. whatever happened to just simplicity and small government? Yeah, we're going to let you sell 10 policies over here at bare bones, but the rest of your policies have to meet these strict guidelines. So only 10 people are allowed to get the bare bones stuff, but even if 100 people want it, you can only sell 10 because you got to. This is insane. Absolutely, completely, and utterly and totally insane. No wonder this thing is not going to pass. I wouldn't even want it to. You might as well just keep freaking Obamacare.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
Welcome back to this Freedom Friday edition of the Rod Eccles Show. Glad that you are all here and all ears, as they would say around here. All. I think that's New York City. All here. You know, last night I was I gotta admit I was for whatever reason I was not feeling the greatest. I don't know. Maybe it was, coming back from the vacation blues. Maybe it was something that I ate during vacation or what. I don't know. I don't know what it was. So I was like laying on my sofa. And to those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda or in trailer parks all across the country, sofa is the more sophisticated way of talking about your couch. So I'm laying on the sofa, and I'm really not paying attention to anything. So I'm just inanely watching TV. And what do I find myself watching I don't know, maybe four or five episodes back to back, whatever. Blue Bloods. Anybody ever watch that? It's not I don't know how long it's been on the air, but evidently it's been on long enough to be in syndication and syndicated. The syndicated network around here has like 6 episodes a day on. So it's been on a while, I would guess. So I'm watching this, and the way they portray police officers is really an enigma. But in any case, the whole point is I'm trying to. Well, Blue Bloods takes place in New York City, and Donnie Wahlberg plays one of the cops, one of the son of the main character, I guess. I don't know. But he's from Boston, and he's got to play this Staten Island type of accent, I guess. I don't. It's to me, it's not working. But hey, evidently he's been doing it for a few seasons now. So okay, go ahead. But you get these. I can't say I'm a fan of the show. And look, I watch like 4 or 5 episodes back to, and it's I don't really think it's all that it's good. Tom Selleck, for those of you who don't know who Tom Selleck is, he was Magnum PI back in the 80s. My mother had the biggest heartthrob crush on him. He was like this heartthrob dude in the 80s. It was embarrassing. And my mother admitted it. Yeah, it was Tom Selleck. Oh, man, he's sexy. Like, Mom? But now he's, I don't know, he's 70? I guess. He still has that same huge mustache. And it's not gray, so he's coloring it. But in any case, it stars Tom Selleck and Donnie Wahlberg, and I really don't know who the rest of the people are. But we have all these cop shows. Why do we have so many cop shows? Well, we've got the SVU thing. We've got we've had all the CSIs, and we've got just tons and tons of cop shows. Why is that? Are we being indoctrinated to blindly follow the police? That the police are supposed to be these wonderful yet dramatic types of people? No, that's not who cops really are. I know some cops personally, different levels, and I can tell you that none of the police officers, be they police officers, sheriff's deputies, state troopers, or FBI agents, or even a Secret Service agent, none of them act like any of those people on those TV cop shows. None of them. Yeah, it's just amazing. And I guess we you ask a person, well, what's a cop like? And they'll tell you based on what they've seen on these cop shows. And that's not what a cop is like. They're regular people. Now, sure, some of them are pretty, arrogant and boisterous when they have the gun strapped to their hip and their badge on their chest. But most of them, at least the ones that I know, when they take off the badge and they're done, they're really not a cop at that particular moment. They're not. They don't. They're not. They have sort of. They do have. Some of them do sort of have a split personality. They become a nearly different person when they're on duty, and to a certain degree they have to. But they still don't act like those people on television shows. I mean, it's just. I have no idea why I even brought it up, but I guess I did, so I have to see it through. But anyway, I'm not after watching all of those Blue Blood episodes, I'm not a fan of it. I've never seen it before. It's kind of like all the FBI shows. What's the the BAU unit with, geez, now I can't even think of the name of the program, but yeah. You know what they ought to have? They ought to have a TV show. It would probably be a hit too. Of IRS agents, or pick somebody that isn't a cop. Pick somebody. I mean, well, Parks and Recreation was a hit, so they need to pick a department. I would like to see an IRS show, and them going. Would you watch if there was a TV drama about IRS agents? Maybe it'd be a comedy. Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Evidently, by the way, the shark that the giant shark I mentioned in that program a couple of years ago during Shark Week is called Submarine. I don't know how they know that she's a female, but evidently it's a she. And supposedly they're going to give us an update this year, Shark Week on Sub. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what it's what I just saw. They're giving us an update on the giant great white submarine. I hate to say it, but I hope the update is that they found her floating upside down, as in dead. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me for sneezing on the air. But live radio, you can't help it sometimes. But yeah, submarine is she was a giant shark, great white. That is frightening. I mean, a real life Jaws. It's funny how life, or imitates art, or is it art imitating life? I don't know. Any case, welcome back. We got somebody who wants to talk about the poor New York City accent, and how Donnie Wahlberg. Anybody know who Donnie Wahlberg is? He's a member of the which boy band was he a part of? I always get them all mixed up. New Kids on the Block, I think, right? Is that I don't know. CS. Well, welcome to the program. I don't know. Are you a fan of boy bands?
Rule number one in the book of CS: you shall not make fun of the New York City accent. Okay, that is rule one. No. Rule one: we shall not mock the New York City accent.
Which New York City?
See, in New York, we say,
you got Staten Island and Queens.
No. In New York, we say Boston. You go up there, they say Boston. Hey, I'm going to Boston. I'm going to park the car in Harvard Yard.
Yes, they park.
I'm going to go to New Hampshire. I'm going to go to New Hampshire.
They park the car in the garden, in the parking lot outside the garden. I get that part, but they don't say Boston. They say Boston in New York. Or is that New Jersey?
Yeah, we say Boston.
Boston.
No, in New York, we say Boston. You go up there, they say Boston.
But do they say Boston, not Boston? It's Boston, not Boston, Boston. I don't, the New York. I think I've relayed this story before. When I first moved to New England, I worked for a company that was based out of Long Island. And I had my immediate boss came to New England, and we were meeting with a client in just outside of Boston. And this guy had a full-on Boston accent, and of course my immediate boss, he had a full-on Long Island accent. And I'm sitting here, the only person with a neutral accent, or no accent as they would call it, and I'm listening to these two talking to each other in their different accents, and I am having a very, very hard time not cracking up listening to these two talk to each other. And I'm amazed that they don't get that they sound completely different. They're both speaking English, but they sound...
Here I am. Let me tell you a little story. I used to hang out with a guy from Boston, right? And his wife's name was Barbara. Now, he called her Barbie. So I'm thinking, all right, that's a cute little name. All right, Barbara, Barbie, no problem. So one day we're talking, and it's, listen, you got to come over to my place because Bobby is dying to meet you. And I'm like, who the hell's Bobby? Who's Bobby?
Bobby.
My wife, Bobby. I'm like, oh, you mean Barbie, you knucklehead?
That's what I said, Bobby.
Yeah, no, it's Barbie.
Yeah, well, they also New Englanders have this strange and innate ability not only to eliminate R's where there should be an R, letter R, but they also seem to add an R where there is no R. I'll give you an example. You know, a lot of when they say, well, somebody goes by the name of Linda. Well, in a New England accent, it's not Linda, it's Linder.
Linder, yeah.
Linder.
Gonna go see Linder.
Linder.
Where's Linder?
Linder. Who's Linder? Or Area. And New Englanders don't even know how to pronounce the names of their own cities and towns. Again, I've looked on maps looking for Worcester. There isn't a Worcester in Massachusetts, but that's how they pronounce. That's how they pronounce Worcester or Worcester. They pronounce it Worcester. And Leominster, they pronounce Leominster. They pronounce Peabody, Peabody. You can't win.
Oh, no. See, here's the thing. Now, to answer your second question, okay, the new kids on the block, I've heard their music before, but we used to affectionately call them back in the day the new idiots on the block because we really didn't like their music and we thought they were a bunch of posers. Simple as that. And, of course, Boston, we were absolutely right because they were from, Boston, right?
But they weren't they weren't the first boy band, but they were a mega hit back in the 80s, I guess.
Something like that. Yeah.
And they gave us backdoor boy. I'm sorry. My nicknames that I have for these bands. They always stick. What is their real name? Backstreet Boys. Yes, Backstreet Boys. Yeah, I call them Backdoor Boys for so long I don't even remember their real name. So you got Backstreet Boys. You've got the Degree ones with Nicola. He was married to. Wasn't he married? Who was he married to? Like a Simpson, Jessica Simpson, Ashley. I don't know. Lachey.
Lachey.
Yeah, that's him. He was. What was he a part of? Like 90. Oh, your body temperature, 98 degrees. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I used to call them No Degrees. And who was the other one that Justin Timberlake was always a part? Oh yeah, Out of Sync.
I like that. That's funny. That is funny.
I've called them names for so long I can't even remember their real names. So you've got No Degrees, Out of Sync, Backdoor Boys. You've got who was it? There was No Town. There's I don't the real boy bands remember New Edition back in the day. They had some talent. Yeah. Then you had Boys to Men. Those are the kind of boy bands going back into the even to the 60s and 50s. You had people are trying to say that the Beatles were a boy band. The Beatles were not a boy band. They were boys that happened to be a band, but boy bands do not play their own instruments. So the Beatles were not a boy band, but you had boy bands of the 50s and 60s. Same thing, I guess. I guess we'll always have them. But I guess in a way you could say that the biggest boy band that ever was the Bee Gees of the 70s. But
you can include them too.
But they did play their own music instruments, but not in concert. Well, one of them did anyway.
You know what? Hollywood has always had a tendency of taking a certain accent and just exaggerating the hell out of it, whether it could be a New York City accent or a Boston accent. American actors that try to portray an English accent, even the British say, that is the most rubbish accent I've ever heard in my life. And they've always had this tendency of exaggerating an accent. So when you're saying that, this guy doesn't have a convincing New York accent, well, surprise, of course not, because Hollywood has a tendency of just overexposing, over-exaggerating, and blowing things out of proportion. I mean, in my entire life of growing up in New York City, I have never met somebody named Jimmy Langusa or Jimmy the Knife Langoose, I'd say, oh, let me tell you something, all right? There ain't no time for this nonsense. I've never seen that in my entire life. I grew up, I was born and raised in New York City, and never met a guy that talked like that before. And I hung out in Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island. I hung out in all these places, but never met a guy that talked like that.
So you never met Jimmy the Knife, and you never saw anybody from like the mafia or anything like that talking to you, huh?
Oh, I never said I didn't meet somebody from the mafia. That I did not say.
So they didn't talk like that, did they? They didn't talk like that.
No, they didn't talk like that. No, I never met anybody named Nicky No Nos or Nicky No Tums saying, "Oh, let me tell you some. I saw this Pachin and I smacked him around." I never seen that. I've never seen that in my entire life growing up in New York City.
I guess that was that only happened in the 40s.
That only happened in Hollywood because, like I said, I've met people that were reputedly in the mob growing up. I've met these guys, but they never talked like that. I mean, they used their hands a lot, but they didn't sound like idiots. They sounded like very intelligent individuals. And financially and business-minded, you have to be extremely intelligent to take crime, turn it into a business that looks legitimate, and then eventually turn it into legitimate business. So you can't be an idiot to do that. These guys were extremely intelligent, and they didn't talk like that. Hollywood, on the other hand, yeah, they like to blow things out of proportion.
They like to, they always have, make things, and even the Bostonian accent in Hollywood is a little bit exaggerated as well, because I don't think I've ever heard a Bostonian accent the way Hollywood portrays it either, and I've been all over New England and nobody talks like that. But hey, yo.
But you know what? Honestly, the only movie that's ever been like spot on portraying mobsters was, of course, The Godfather. Notice they didn't talk like that. They weren't as overly animated or overly exaggerated as Hollywood. Yeah. Godfather, they were spot on with it.
Yeah, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse, huh?
I'll let you go so you can finish the show. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, talk to you later. I try to do a decent British accent every once in a while, but I know it's exaggerated, and it's exaggerated to be funny. But it is what it is, I guess. Any case, Hawaii deals a fresh blow to Trump's travel ban. Judge rules that grandparents of U.S. citizens flying from the 6 Muslim countries will not be barred entry. That's what he says. The order by U.S. District Judge Derek Watson in Honolulu dealt a fresh courtroom defeat for Trump as the Republican president seeks to toughen U.S. immigration policy. Now, this district judge just thinks that he can force his ruling on the entire country. Well, not really, but this guy needs to be, he needs to be removed. He does, because he's not being very constitutional. He doesn't get to decide after the Supreme Court has made its decision. He's not above the Supreme Court. And he doesn't get to keep pushing the limit. That's not the way this works. Now, I actually don't have a problem with allowing, I don't think we've ever had a terrorist who was geriatric. So, but it's not their decision. It's the president's decision. Plain and simple. They can say whatever they want, but it is the president's decision. It's not their decision. But he's ruled that, you know what? Since the president the Supreme Court says the president can have his travel ban, I'm just gonna overturn part of the Supreme Court decision by saying, well, the grandparents can come in, even though the Supreme Court basically said, no, everything that we'll get to the rest of this later, but right now everything else it can be in play. They specifically left most of the travel ban in place. And this judge thinks he can just say, well, they didn't really say that we couldn't, so we couldn't say this, so we're going to say this, and now Trump can't do it. This is not how it works. Sorry, but it's not. And you liberals, you got to understand, the Constitution is there for a reason. And just because you don't like it doesn't mean that you get to overturn it. Because I guarantee you, eventually it's going to come back to bite you in the ass, because constitutionally, I think it already has a number of times. There's going to be something constitutionally that happens that you tried getting pushed through that gets pushed back and they say no. And then you're going to be crying in your little soup. They said no. They slapped my hand. Yeah, well, we should do that more often.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and/or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
So, do you have a favorite accent? I don't know what. I know some people like the British accent, but there are different British accents. Some people like the. I actually like the Scottish accents and the Irish accents. There are very different, numerous different types of Southern accents. The Atlanta, Georgia accent is pretty cool, pretty nice, especially when it comes to, well, like the TV show Designing Women. If you remember that from the 80s or 90s, that's where I first really heard it. Any case, Jimmy Carter was released from a Canadian hospital a day after becoming dehydrated while building houses with Habitat for Humanity. He was hospitalized after getting dehydrated while volunteering for... Now, he's done a lot of this. He's helped build a lot of Habitat for Humanity. Didn't he start Habitat for Humanity? I think he did. But in any case, well, good for him. He's actually putting his liberalness to work there. And well, I mean, if you happen to like that sort of thing, doing that sort of thing, then that's the way you do it. You don't force it in government. You don't force it in government, via government. This is stuff that has to be done in the private sector, and it's always done better in the private sector. Habitat for Humanity actually does a very good job of doing what they do. And notice how they put, you have to, if you want a Habitat for Humanity house, you have to do what they tell you to do. You have to get some skin in the game if you want a house. And then you got to pay for it. Yeah, well, it is what it is. There is something I had here that I wanted to play for you. I'm not sure if I wanted to play this. This was already played or not, but you know what? We'll go ahead and play it anyway. I'm not even going to introduce it. I'm just going to play it for you.
I have seen the torch of freedom pass from hand to yearning hand, and the vision of our fathers spread hope throughout this land, as the dream some fought and died for in my heart becomes my own. I will strive to keep her promise. America, my home. America, America, may God bless America, and freedom reign across America, my home. From the shorelines to the prairies, to the cities great and small, we have reaped the fruits of justice and liberty for all. So with deep appreciation for the blessings we have known, I will honor her forever. America, my home.
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for a beer. You want to come along?
Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back?
Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer?
With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95.
I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me. My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better, at nih.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And welcome back, hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Yes, indeed, it is Friday, July number 14 in the year of our Lord 2017. And every Friday we'd like to take it a little bit lighter, if not slower. No, we don't go slower. We still go hard and fast, but we just take it lighter. 603-835-3226 is the number to call should you wish to participate and talk about just about anything under the sun. Just keep it clean, please. As we get through to about half of July, we say goodbye to half of July. And we say hi to the last half of July. Here in New England, that's just, we're halfway through the first of the 2 months of summer. Well, I think that's more like Alaska. And say, well, we didn't have much summer weather in June, I suppose. Maybe we did. It was very kind of wet in June, and it's wet again today here. By the way, Joe Scarborough says that he and Mika are going to marry in Nantucket next spring. And Joe says that there's no way that his former pal, Donald Trump, will score an invite. Well, do you think he'd go in the first place? These people still think that they're all important. You know what? We're going to snub the president. We're not going to invite the president to our wedding nuptials, and that's really going to burn him. In the meantime, Donald is sitting in the White House thinking, Joe who? So Mika who? Did I say something about Mika before? Like a year ago or something? I don't know. Something about her face bleeding. Her face was bleeding or something like that. Whoever Mika is, Micah. How do you pronounce her name? Micah. Mika, Micah. Yeah, it should be Micah, not Mika. But in any case, I know I'm making fun of these people, but they deserve it because they take themselves way too seriously. They think that they're all important. For crying out loud, the joke is on them now. I mean, you've got jokes about CNN that say that, the Cartoon Network gets the worst program on Cartoon Network gets better ratings than the best program on CNN. I mean, that's how bad it's gotten. CNN is terrible. It's awful. In any case, I don't know. I don't watch CNN. I can never say, people, you watch too much CNN because I don't know I love it when people tell me, well, you need to stop watching Fox. Stop watching Fox. Getting your news from Fox, Rod. You can't get your news from Fox. Fox is a bunch of lies. Fox is wrong. Fox is this and Fox is that. And I say, I don't watch Fox, but you obviously do because you know what Fox is saying. And then they invariably reply, I don't watch Fox. Well, if you don't watch Fox, then how do you know what Fox says and how would you know that I watch it? So I never say, well, stop watching CNN because I don't watch CNN. I don't know what CNN says most of the time. 99.9% of the time, I don't know what CNN says. Because I stopped watching CNN a long time ago. And it looks like there are a lot of people who join me. And there are bunches and bunches and bunches of people who continue to join the ranks of former CNN watchers. Because their ratings are so low. I don't know. How the hell do they stay on the air? I'm probably getting better ratings than CNN at the moment. No joke. It is a joke if CNN is, and I don't even have video yet. Can you imagine once I add the video? Yeah, well, these people think that they are so important, in that they're so wonderful that they can get away with and say anything and do anything, that kind of thing. Hey, did you know? In the scientific report, Future Shock, there is a breakthrough. There is a space breakthrough. Yes, scientists. This is actually from Fox News Tech Report. Scientists teleport a photon from Earth to orbit. Now, I'm not sure I fully understand all of this kind of stuff, but for the first time, scientists have successfully teleported a photon from the ground to a satellite in orbit. It's been 20 years since quantum scientists successfully teleported a photon over 10 miles, proving that quantum entanglement, a process that Albert Einstein called spooky action at a distance, was possible. Now, the very unnatural phenomenon occurs when two quantum objects, such as photons, share a wave function. Since they come into existence at the exact same time and place, they share the same identity, even when separated. What happens to one happens to the other wherever it exists. So are they actually two different entities? In 2010, a team at the University of Science and Technology of China in Shanghai, they set a record by teleporting photons over 60 miles on Earth. And now, just 7 years later, they've outdone themselves, teleporting protons from a ground station in Tibet, 2.5 miles above sea level, to a satellite orbiting Earth more than 310 miles away. It marks the first time an object has been teleported from our planet into space. Now, according to this, what it sounds like is that they really didn't do what we call teleportation, but they were able to separate and send one of the photons that's like a twin, I suppose, of the other. And since they're both one and the same, somehow you teleported. I don't. It's far from the Star Trek version of teleportation. However, it means that they're starting to figure this stuff out, which is kind of exciting and scary at the same time. And it is sort of like making one object be in two places at the same time, which there is also quantum theories about that and how that can be very disruptive to the space-time continuum and all that kind of stuff. And we're not going to get deep into quantum physics and quantum theory, of which I am not an expert in. I know enough to be dangerous and in the secrets of the quantum, as it were. But but evidently we have some technology that now allows us to teleport photons from the Earth to space. However you want to describe it. Secret Square has also been discovered beneath Neolithic stone monument. Yes, hidden beneath the world's largest prehistoric stone circle, archaeologists in England have discovered an even older secret square-shaped megalithic monument. Our research has revealed previously unknown megaliths inside the world's famous Avebury stone circle. We have detected and mapped a series of prehistoric standing stones that were subsequently hidden and buried along with the positions of others likely destroyed during the 17th and 18th centuries. Together, these reveal a striking and apparently unique square megalithic monument within the Avebury circles that has the potential to be one of the very earliest structures on this remarkable site. The new findings are shocking for such an old site, which has been extensively studied by archaeologists since the 1600s. Now, the Avebury site in Wiltshire, southwest England, is one of the most mysterious ancient monuments in the country. The Neolithic monument was built largely between 4850 and 4200, 4850 and 4200 years ago, according to English Heritage, along with Stonehenge, Silbury Hill and Windmill Hill. The newfound monuments may have formed a vast sacred landscape that ancient people used for rituals and communal gatherings, and whose purpose remains shrouded in mystery. So, and they find this stuff with this newfangled ground penetrating radar systems that reveal what's deep below the Earth's surface and in great detail, or great detail, however you want to pronounce it. Tomato, detail. But it is kind of fascinating. The problem with some of this stuff is that they try to date this stuff, but as we know, that our method of dating, which is carbon dating, cannot date stone. There's no way for us to, through carbon dating, to date stone. So all this stuff is pretty much a guess. But of course, you get some people that make it sound like it's actual, factual nonfiction. And it's not. So you can take it for what it is, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not an archaeologist, that's for sure. I do find it fascinating, though, that we seem to find a lot of this stuff. We seem to reading in the chat room about photons. Yeah. I didn't get it either. So how is it that two photons can be the same photon, but they're separate photons? So I guess they're twins, and they're exactly the same, but they're not the same because they're two different photons, but they are the same photon. I don't know how they got one photon into space, and I don't know how they call that teleporting when you have the same photon. I don't know. I was hoping, I brought this story here because I was hoping somebody out there could put this whole story in layman's terms, because I don't even think that the author of the article who's trying to report this understands exactly what the hell is going on. But kind of weird. I agree. It is very weird. In any case, that is science, though. So science is, there's a lot we don't know yet. You know, we are still at this scary stage of we still don't know what we don't know. Yeah, we don't know what we don't know. It's just it's a little spooky, a little scary, and as we try to figure this stuff out, we realize that there's even more that we don't know. But yet and still we try to move forward with some of this stuff without even knowing what the consequences are going to be like. And that's a whole other topic.
Love hurts. Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
603-835-3226. Welcome back. We have this story here for you about Nevada. Yes, evidently Nevada is going through an emergency. And Nevada had to approve an emergency regulation aimed at solving a shortage in Nevada. And that shortage is solving their marijuana shortage problem. Evidently, there's a short. I'm not kidding you. This is the Los Angeles Times. There is a shortage of pot of marijuana in Nevada. Nevada approved an emergency regulation yesterday aimed at solving a marijuana shortage by expanding who is allowed to transport the drug from cultivation facilities to retail dispensaries. The Nevada Tax Commission voted unanimously in favor of the regulation 2 weeks after the state began allowing the sale of recreational marijuana, and supply problems quickly arose because nobody had been licensed to transport it. Yeah, probably because the state regulators were all too high to figure this out. The referendum passed last year by Nevada voters legalizing the drug for recreational use. It stipulated that for the first 18 months of sales, only liquor wholesalers would be allowed to apply to distribute marijuana. Obviously a nod to the powerful alcohol industry, which is worried about new competition from pot. This is the most ridiculous asinine story ever. You're telling me that in Nevada, the alcohol distributors are worried that pot is going to take business away from alcohol? How inane is that? And so, only a few alcohol distributors applied. And why the first 18 months? First 18 months is only going to be, you got to be an alcohol distributor in order to be able to distribute pot. And since the alcohol industry is worried that pot's going to take over and cut into their sales, they're not going to deliver it, the pot. I don't know how this stuff comes about either, folks. I really don't. I don't even know how. Well, I mean, I understand that people in Nevada, they wanted the stuff to be legal. Okay, I'm an advocate of legalizing pot. I think it's a huge mistake to keep it illegal. We waste way too much time, energy, money, policing resources on trying to enforce these stupid, archaic, illegitimate laws against marijuana. And it's just dumb. It really is. But at the same time, you can't regulate it so much that even though you do make it legal, it's pretty much you can't get it. And that's what they kind of did in Nevada. Oh yeah, okay, let's make it legal, but let's make it impossible for that legal product to now be distributed. That's how you keep it basically out of the hands of people. You make it impossible. We used to have these kind of laws with alcohol. They were called bootlegging laws. And it prevented this. I mean, it's really why some of the bigger bootlegging laws are really why some of the bigger breweries like Anheuser-Busch have multiple breweries all over the country in order to avoid and sidestep those antiquated anti-bootlegging laws. For the longest time, it was very difficult, if not impossible, to get beer like Coors beer east of the Mississippi because it was made west of the Mississippi and bootlegging. That's how you got Smokey and the Bandit. The movie Smokey and the Bandit was about bootlegging, basically. That's what it was. That's what that movie was all about. But so now you have this whole thing about drugs, or not drugs, but pot, marijuana in Nevada. But they made it so it was very, very nearly impossible for dispensaries to get the drug. And it is a drug. Pot is a drug. The weed, the tobacco, if you will, the wacky tobacco. Because few of these alcohol distributors apply to be able to transport weed. And through Tuesday, none of them had actually been approved when sales began July 1st. Retail shops, all of which were already selling marijuana for medical use, had to rely on their existing stocks, which soon started to run low, obviously. You know, the chairman of the tax commission, Jim DeVold, said emergency regulation was needed as the state joined several others in still evolving world of legal marijuana. I don't know about you, but if you don't have anybody to distribute the product, does it really matter if it's legal? I think that's what they were counting on.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Bring the rain.
603-835-3226. Welcome back as we continue on into with the show here. Excuse me, Daily Caller. There is a shortage of foreign labor force in Maine. The state of Maine. And you won't believe what this has forced the businesses in Maine to do. It's been forced to hire local workers. I know, isn't this terrible? Businesses in Bar Harbor, you can't get there from here, in Bar Harbor, Maine, are turning to locals to make up for a shortage of foreign guest workers that normally fill summer jobs in the bustling seaside resort town because the H-2B visa program has already reached its annual quota. Bar Harbor's hotels, restaurants, and shops can't bring in any more foreign workers for the rest of the busy summer tourist season. Like hundreds of similar coastal resort towns, Bar Harbor has for many years depended on the H-2B visas for temporary workers. The program allows non-agricultural companies to bring in foreign labor if they are unable to find suitable employees domestically. Evidently, they can find suitable employees domestically. So now they have to come up with creative ways to attract local labor. The Bar Harbor Chamber of Commerce will hold a job fair this Saturday, this weekend, in an effort to recruit significant numbers of workers from within the region. Just about every kind of business in town is looking for help, says Chamber Executive Director Martha Searchfield. Yeah, that's her name. I know. Kind of weird. Yeah, Searchfield. Searchfield is helping businesses search the field for people to work for them. So retail, restaurants, tour boats, everything, all types of workers are needed in Maine. The shortage is so acute that companies are sweetening incentives for local workers. Searchfield says some businesses are offering flexible schedules that might appeal to older workers who might be interested in working only a day or two each week. And other companies have gone so far as to offer higher wages to entice locals. Oh, look at that, higher wages. So people who are Americans will have take the jobs. Now, the limit for the H-2B visas is set at about 66,000 people for half the winter season and half for the summer season. In the past, workers who had previously come to the U.S. on H-2B visas were given a returning worker exemption and not counted against the cap. Congress did not include the returning worker provision in this year's authorization. So therefore, now these businesses have to actually turn to American citizens. Isn't that terrible? American citizens will now be able to get these jobs because, and in some cases they have to offer higher wages in order to attract the American citizen. Why is that a bad thing? I mean, let's think about this for a second. We have a story here that's telling us that it's possibly a bad thing that we don't have all these wonderful H-2B visas anymore because the current administration in Congress has put a limit on them. And businesses are having a hard time finding people to fill these jobs, so what do they have to do? They have to offer flexibility and even higher salaries than they would normally pay these immigrants. Well, it just goes to show you right there that bringing in an overabundance of immigrants does have a downward effect on on salaries here in this country. And the whole notion that people won't do a certain kind of job is a false notion. They're not going to do it for $2 an hour, but they'll do it for $10 an hour. And frankly, I've been to some of these coastal towns and these tourist trap places. They charge an arm and a leg for stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. Don't tell me they're not making any money. Well, they only get to make money. They can only make hay for like between, May and September, Rod. And no. That's they may make their profit during that period of time, but you know what? If they got to pay their workers a real wage, then so be it. I'm not one who's into this living wage kind of crap either. But again, if you want to have good workers, you're gonna have to pay for them. And we have to stop this notion of artificially keeping pay artificially low, because we'll import a bunch of people who will be very happy to work for $4 an hour or so, because where they live, the cost of living, $4 an hour is middle class. That's the other part that people seem to forget, including the wonderful liberals who think that we should pay these immigrants, $15 an hour. Why? That would make them rich in their countries, many of them. But, it's also these... The other problem... Well, there is some truth that Americans don't want to do some of the jobs that these wonderful immigrants do. Americans probably don't want to clean the toilets of these elitist a-holes. They don't. We don't. We're not going to clean up after you people. Anyway. Got another song here. I played this song before too, and I want to play it again because it's pretty awesome. So, and my voice is getting kind of froggy anyway, but it's sitting here on the whatever this is. Anyway, it's called When the Eagle Cries. Give a listen this Friday.
Just like any other, out of the blue, it turned to horror. How could they? Why would they? The innocent suffered hell's inferno, a senseless act that goes unforgotten. How could they? They will. pain when the ego cries. Attempting vengeance, but we are focused, we seek redemption. We are free, we'll stay free. All they've done is make us stronger. The sleeping giant is asleep no longer. If need be, we'll die free. When the ego cries.
Thank them for sending that to us. You kind of get your blood flowing, doesn't it? And the eagle cry. I mean, think about it, folks. Whenever the last thing any country really wants to do is piss off the United States. I'm just saying, because that has proven to be a mistake every single time, save one. Well, maybe two. Talking about Korea and Vietnam, but then we just had a bunch of people who didn't want to win for whatever. I just don't get why you wouldn't want to win something. Get involved into war and you don't want to win it? Makes no sense. Which is probably why Chris Rock is confirming that he is running for Senate in Michigan. And because he said he's sick and tired of politicians' bullshit. And that's exactly what he says. He's tired of their, well, he may have to clean up his image a little bit if he's going to actually run for the Senate. Because he's a rocker, I guess, and whatever. Musician Kid Rock appeared to confirm his run for the U.S. Senate in his home state of Michigan yesterday with a fiery Facebook message in which he blasted the media for once again being wrong. about his potential candidacy, and he took a shot at the incumbent, Senator Debbie Stabenow, which, he should. Stabenow needs to be defeated. She really does. Now, Rock had hinted before at a political run for Senate on Wednesday with the launch of a campaign website, Kid Rock for Senate. Now, let me just say that Kid Rock, you need to actually use your government name in this particular case. I'm just saying, it might be a little bit better, a little bit easier for you to win if you did that. So you should try that. Use your government. What is his government name anyway?
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Have a legal problem and need some serious legal advice? Then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Any facts we say here are probably wrong, and any analysis of the law should not be followed.
There you go. Reasonable men are here to take a twisted look at the law.
Stack your hayride.
Learn in hand. Best name in law school.
Check us out on iTunes, reasonablemen.com, or on your favorite podcast app.
Reasonable men are back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Yes, indeed. We are back for a short segment here on the Rod Eccles Show as we begin to wind the program down, but not before we get into some other details. You have somebody actually out there suing Coca-Cola. He's suing He's suing Coca-Cola. Yes, I don't know why they say black, but black pastors sue Coca-Cola who say sweets kill more of us than the streets. Yes, sweets kill more people than the streets. William Lamar, the senior pastor at D.C.'s historic Metropolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church, now that's a mouthful, is tired of presiding over funerals for parishioners who died of heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. So on Thursday, he and other prominent African-American pastor filed suit against Coca-Cola and the American Beverage Association, claiming soda manufacturers knowingly deceive customers about the health risk of sugar-sweetened beverages at enormous cost to their communities. The complaint filed in D.C. Superior Court on behalf of the pastors and the Praxis Project, P-R-A-X-I-S, a public health group, alleges that Coke and the ABA ran an intentional campaign to confuse consumers about the causes of obesity. So people actually drinking too much, even after all the information that's already out there about sugary drinks and what have you, that doesn't count. They're just like people, tobacco companies are still to blame for people smoking, even though the warnings, half the packaging is a warning not to smoke. We've heard, we've had not de Blasio, but Bloomberg, former mayor, New York City Mayor Bloomberg, who tried to enforce this soda size limit in New York City. So you can't tell me these people don't know. Of course they know. It's called laziness. They sit on their asses all day long. Rod, that's kind of racist. Well, I can say that. And blacks have a disproportionate problem with and it's not due to Coca-Cola targeting them. It's due to their lifestyle and them just more than being willing to overeat and to indulge in the wrong stuff too much. So what it is, we don't have healthy habits. Healthy habits are for gangbangers. And you don't see a lot of fat gangbangers, do you? No, you don't. But when they stop being gangbangers or they're not a gangbanger, then they tend to be what? Fat. I'm just going to say it. But it's not just blacks. There are a lot of diabetes in this country is on the rise, and it's due to and so are certain other kinds of diseases. It's just on the rise, and it's because Americans have a very poor diet. It's overprocessed food, highly sugarized drinks, and too much of both. And we end up being fat. And that causes all kinds of problems. And it's not the manufacturer's fault. We're the ones that buy the damn stuff and eat it. You may say, well, it tastes good. Well, maybe. And in actuality, a lot of this stuff that is overprocessed isn't really all that good. It's just fast and convenient. It's not all that tasty. You're trying to tell me that McDonald's are great burgers. They're not. And they're not so cheap anymore either. But they're fast and convenient. That's because Americans have gotten very, 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 very lazy. I don't care what your ethnic background is. We've all gotten very lazy. We want things now. Now. I'm hungry now. I don't want to wait. So these pastors, they want to, they want to go ahead and sue Coca-Cola for, what about Pepsi and Polar and all the other soft drink companies? Just Coke? It's just Coke, folks. Coke is the problem. Coke is the reason for black people dying from diabetes and obesity. Yes, that's according to these pastors. Well, that means that we're out of time for today, but not just for today, for the week. But we will be back here on Monday to begin a whole brand new broadcast excellence week like you will not believe. So be here. Tell some friends to tune in. Until then, have a wonderful Friday afternoon and an awesome weekend. God bless America. We'll see you back here on Monday. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.